I'm Michael, and I'm a cinematographer that lives in London. What is a cinematographer? For those that don't know, it's also known as a director of photography. And my job is to take words from a script and make them into pictures for a film. I work closely with directors, and they have a mood that they want for their film. And it's my job to use lights and cameras and lenses and all these other cool stuff to make a picture that's the best picture for the film. So a lot of people have very specific goals, and they start off with a degree, and then they move on to a career with the same degree, and they've got a very specific pathway. My approach was always a bit different, and it actually took me quite a long time to come to terms with that and realize that that's also an option. So maybe my sort of approach can help some other people, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. So a lot of friends that know me know that I try and get involved in as many things as I can. I say a lot of yeses. Things that I've sort of said yes to in the past have been, hey Mike, do you want to go for a drink? Yes, I want to go for a drink, absolutely. Do you want to work on this new project? Absolutely want to work on this new project. Do you want to walk my dog? I love dogs, I'm going to walk your dog, absolutely. That's what I want to do. But you know, this kind of makes me sound like Jim Carrey in The Yes Man, that great film. So I'm actually referring to my career more than anything. Why do I say yes to a lot of things? I guess I say yes and get involved in a lot of things because I'm inquisitive. I'm kind of curious. I like talking to people. I'm probably one of those kids that was really young and asked a lot of questions and got my parents really annoyed. But if you ask my girlfriend, she'll probably say I've got FOMO. Apparently this is the fear of missing out. Some new thing I never knew about. But I'm not a life coach, and I don't have a golden recipe for how things work. This is just what I've drawn from my experiences. So basically, starting off a bit about me, I'm a Greek Australian, from a father that's Greek and a mother that's Australian. I was born and raised in Athens, and at about 17 years old, I went over to the UK to study biochemistry, clinical biochemistry, and now I've ended up being a cinematographer. But I think what's interesting is probably the little story in between these two. So I studied biochemistry, and I really liked it. It was pretty cool. You get to play with all your chemicals in the lab and all these pretty colors, and it kind of sharpens your brain. It's interesting. But I was waiting for my PhD and my money to come through, so I thought I'm going to go back down to Greece to sort of take a break and wait and see what happens. I go there, and I come down to Greece, and they say, you have to go to the army. And I say, no, not going to the army. They said, yes, you're going to go to the army. So I went to the army. And so I'm not the only one that says yes in this story. So I went to the army, but photography was always something I loved to do, and from a young age. And when I finished the army, a very big fashion magazine, a famous one, got in contact and said, hey, do you want to maybe shoot some pictures for us? And I thought, I have no idea how to do what you're asking me to do, but I'm going to do it. Yes, absolutely, I'm going to do this. Sounds really cool. And I think I learned something from that one yes I said. And what I learned was that I definitely don't want to do chemistry anymore. My parents didn't like that very much, but we got there. Afterwards, a friend said, we're opening an advertising agency. Do you want to maybe be a part of it? I thought, absolutely. I have no idea what advertising agencies do, but I'm going to do it. Yes, sounds cool. This is what I want to do. You learn a lot from that. You learn that working with friends usually isn't very cool. It kind of gets a bit weird. You also learn how to deal with big clients, and you learn how to say a story with words and pictures, like all those cool advertising things are. After that, I thought, I better go back to the UK. I've missed that place. Or my girlfriend's there. I'm not sure which one of the two it was. But I thought, I got to start somewhere. England is a really tough market, and you have to start somewhere. And I'm not going to do some really cool photo shoots for magazines, so I have to just be humble. So I saw an ad for a coffee boy in a production company. I thought, awesome, I can make the best coffee in the world. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to be patient. I'll do this. So he said, yes, give me that job. Coffee, sounds awesome. So I go there, and I thought, maybe it's going to be cool. Maybe I'm going to see how some big photography sets work, some big films. I'll get to maybe meet some people. And yeah, from that, yes, I learned a lot of stuff. I definitely learned the hierarchy and how things work in England. I definitely learned office politics, which is a funny thing in England, because no one really talks in the office, no one says anything, and you learn how to deal with that. But what I really, really learned is that I wanted to be a cinematographer. You know, the story can go on. I met some people from Vogue, the big fashion magazine. They said, hey, we've got some really crappy shoots. Do you want to do some crap shoots? I'm like, awesome, crappy shoots. I want to do this, man. Give it to me, I'll do these crappy shoots. My first shoot was with Emma Watson, the actress, which I thought was in Lord of the Rings, but she's actually in Harry Potter. I didn't know that. So then I met some friends, and they said, hey, we've got a desk that's free in our studio. Do you want to maybe come here? I thought, I don't know, I kind of need a desk. I don't want to work from home. Yes, come on, give me the desk, man. Let's do this, we'll get the desk. And that was probably one of the best things I did. And from that, yes, I kind of have some really great friends that we have the best conversations ever. And I actually met a very good friend of mine, Benjamin, sat right next to me, and he said, hey, Michael, do you want to make a film together? I thought, great. I'm not exactly sure how to make a film, but we can definitely try. We can give this a shot. So we both did our research. He could write a very good script, and that's the film that got us an Oscar about 3 months ago. So that was our first film ever. And I think that whole story about Stutterer, which is the name of our film, was a big yes story, because anything we had to do, we had to say yes to. We didn't have any money. We only had £5,000, and all the other films had like £50,000. So we had to say yes. Do you know how to edit? Yes, I know how to edit. Just give it to me. Do you know how to color your film? Yeah, whatever, man. Just give it to me. I'll just, yes, I know how to do it. And so on and so forth. I mean, I think you get the picture. Basically, that was all just, getting an Oscar was sort of like really crazy after all that. And then after that, basically, I also got asked to do a TED Talk in a boat. And I thought, I love boats. Boats are pretty cool. So I'm going to do a TED Talk in a boat. You get the picture. Basically, what I'm saying is that, you know, yes has worked for me in the past. Obviously, yes, saying yes to everything isn't 100% the best idea. You're going to have some cases where you get involved in something that didn't really work. But what happens with me is I feel that you always learn something, trying to get involved in as many things. Now, you might say, this is one of these cases, Mike, where you say do yes to one thing, yes to another thing, yes to another thing, and another thing, and then one of them works. It's kind of like an expression they have in Greek, which I think is, you throw pasta on the wall and one will stick. And I'll say no, because actually what I'm saying is that you're going to say yes, but you're always going to keep your eye on the ball, and you're going to be careful of what you do next, and you're going to say, I learned this thing from this thing, I don't like this thing from the other thing, and I'm going to slowly, naturally filter down into what I want to do. Now, I think what's really important is whatever you decide to do in this weird path we follow these days, in this unconventional path, is that you do it really well, because I think that's the only way you're ever going to really learn the most from anything. If you scratch the surface, and you don't really do anything about it, you don't go into great depth, you're not really going to learn any lessons, you're not going to fail enough, you're not going to speak to the right people that are really good at what you're doing, and so on and so forth. Now, what happens when you say yes to a lot of things? This is what I think happens. You expose yourself to a lot of different situations that you normally wouldn't have been exposed to. That means that you're probably also open to failing in a lot of these things, because failure is actually a really good thing, because you're never going to repeat that same mistake again when you fail. You also get out of your comfort zone, and that's where I think the happy mistakes happen, because not much happens when you're watching Netflix on your couch. Usually. Netflix is pretty cool, I do like it. But more importantly, what happens when you say yes to a lot of things, you meet a lot of people. And I find that with my work, the main reason why people will call me back to work with them again is usually not so much because of my work, but it's also because they remember me from talking to me. And I think especially in this day and age when a lot of the stuff we do is behind a computer screen, it's important to engage with people face to face, because everyone remembers a face, but not everyone remembers an email address. So conversation, Conversation actually is another big thing because I personally think that's when you really learn a lot. Well, you can read Wikipedia all day, but unless you really engage in conversation, it's like when in school you used to study for exams, and until you actually chat about that Einstein theory or something with someone else is when you really understand what's going on. What I also don't quite understand is, in this day and age, a lot of people have one goal. They study one thing, they go on to do that as a job, and I think that, especially in today's world, things are changing very quickly, and industries are changing, and by exposing yourself and saying yes and meeting a lot of people, you're keeping your eye on the horizon. You know what's the next option? Because I've got friends which are bankers and now are in startups. I've got friends which were sociologists and now are professional video game players, which is weird. You can actually make a lot of money from it. That's really weird. So you have to be sort of open, I think. And all this isn't a very deep philosophy. It's just my take. It's what I found worked, because a lot of friends said, how the heck did you get there, man? And you started with chemistry, and then you did that. And honestly, this is how I think I got there. This is just my opinion. I did it naturally. I didn't really think about it. And I only realized this quite recently. There's a quote by Thomas Jefferson that I like, and it said, the harder I work, the luckier I get. And I think that sort of plays on this, although luck isn't something I really believe in. And I think what it says is, the more you expose yourself to different situations, the more you increase your chances of succeeding in these things. And to close it off, basically what I'm saying, and this is just my sort of idea, what helped me, and this doesn't apply to everyone, is try and say yes to a lot of different things and be open and positive about them, because everyone loves working with someone positive. And while you do it though, do it really well and filter down as you go. And slowly, slowly, I think you find what you're actually good at and what you like doing more. And you never know where it's going to take you. And remember, for me, one of the biggest things, it's not the destination, but it's the journey on the way. And you have to learn to enjoy the ride. So that's part of the fun. That's my take. Thank you very much.